I should never expect anything from Gymshark again. Release the thigh seam. This is significantly better than the Gymshark 1.0 seamless. This actually might be the smallest bra I've ever seen. Speechless. Genuinely speechless. Last year we tried the Gymshark Lift Seamless leggings, which turned out to be one of the worst leggings the Gymshark has ever come out with, in my opinion. There was absolutely zero lifting. I feel like I looked deformed, and the scrunch was literally 3 inches wide. But just last week, they came out with their Lift Seamless 2.0, and I'm gonna be honest, I was intrigued. They looked pretty good. So I bought the entire collection featuring mid-rise glute lifting shorts and leggings, 2 sports bras with different coverage options, which I love to see, and a couple tops as well. So I'm going to give my honest thoughts on the entire Gymshark Lift Seamless 2.0 collection. Gymshark really did pave the way for women's activewear in a lot of ways, but I have not been intrigued to buy anything from them in a long time. And my Gymshark reviews are just few and far between at this point because honestly, do they have anything besides the Animal Adapt collection anymore? I did actually recently buy a sports bra and like some running shorts from them, and the shorts were awful. The bra was actually okay. But compared to the first version of the Lift Seamless, they seem like they really have been listening to the desires of the girlies with this collection. First of all, we got mid-rise. Honestly, at a glance, this entire collection kind of looks like Define, but when I looked at the images of the leggings more closely, they almost remind me more of the Buff Bunny Miracle Seamless. So obviously, we have both of those to compare. Anyways, let's just get right into it with the Lift Seamless 2.0 leggings. I got a size small. My normal Gymshark legging size. First impressions, this fabric feels very, very similar to the Define Impact fabric. It's that very dense piqué knit seamless that has more of like a honeycomb structure. So here's an up close of the front of the leggings. You can see that little honeycomb structure, very dense. And let's just talk about what the website claims that these leggings will do. They call them the capital V, glute sculpting leggings. Lift, shapes, and separates your glutes with a unique 360-degree contouring design. I don't know if I would say it's unique when like every brand has their own contouring leggings at this point, but we'll see. Cleaner, lower profile bum scrunch because the 1.0 version, not low profile at all. Mid-rise sits below the belly button, snatches and cinches better than ever. My least favorite thing with the mid-rise though is when they squeeze your waist a lot as a longer torso girly. So I can do a mid-rise, but some of them squeeze a little bit, so we'll see. Then they say squat proof, seamless, and so soft. Keeps you cool and contouring rib textures. So here are the leggings. They're $64. They're made of a 92% nylon, 8% elastane. We have a sewn on ribbed waistband, dense seamless material as the body of the leggings. This part really reminds me of Define. Define also has the sewn on waistband, which I do tend to prefer a seamless waistband, like a waistband that transitions into the body of the legging seamlessly. But there is a benefit of having the sewn on waistband, and that is that you can get the curved glute seams in the back. So we have some nice V-contoured glute seams. We have a slightly thinner area of fabric over the glutes, very consistent with other brands like Buff Bunny Miracle Seamless, Define Impact. And I hope we can see the difference here, but we can see this is the dense piqué knit seamless. The fibers are in more of a honeycomb pattern. And then on the glute area, you can see the fibers run vertically, and this type of material does have more stretch. Then we get to the scrunch, and this is actually still a pretty wide scrunch, like if we measure. And I just feel like it's not necessary to make the scrunch that wide. So we can see the scrunch here, and there are multiple little levels of the fabric here, and the full width is actually 1 3/4 inch. So that is actually very wide. And I just feel like they didn't need all of those different layers of the scrunch, but we'll see how much it actually sits between the glutes. Maybe it'll be good. And then we have ribbing down the side and 3 levels of ribbing underneath the glutes. And this reminds me a lot of Buff Bunny Miracle Seamless. So if you look under the glute pocket here, there's one little level right there. Second level, third level is a dense ribbing that goes down the thigh. The ribbing also crosses over to the knee area in the front. So I'll show a little flat lay comparison, but basically the Gymshark Lift Seamless have the fabric feel of Define Impact with a similar scrunch to Define Impact, except like 3 times as wide. But the waistband height, the curved glute seams, and the under glute contour are very, very similar to the Buff Bunny Miracle Seamless, but Buff Bunny Miracle Seamless doesn't technically have a scrunch. It just has a short back rise seam that gives the same scrunch effect. And then I have to say, I really appreciate that Gymshark did a tonal Gymshark logo instead of their normal like bright white. So let's try this on and see how they are. Also, remember how in the description of the leggings, it said that they were squat proof? Like that was like one of their main things that they were saying. If you scroll down on the same page under the materials and care, it literally says that certain colors will be sheer when you squat. So why are we saying on the literal same page, squat proof and then not squat proof. What does squat proof mean to people? I actually really don't like when leggings put squat proof on the website because it's really hard to generalize about one legging being squat proof when honestly so much of it comes down to the color that I feel like that's misleading. Because if you're buying the lift seamless and you're like, oh, they're gonna be squat proof, and then you buy the butter yellow, it's not gonna be squat proof. No butter yellow legging is squat proof. And to think, you guys, I was like, I think Gymshark really may have cooked here. And this is what we're dealing with in the back. I should never expect anything from Gymshark again. I am going to try to adjust these and make them work, but like generally you have to pull up these seamless leggings quite a bit. I feel like, you know, if you really want the scrunch to sit where it's supposed to sit, that's about as much as we're getting. It's still like the under glute compression that's supposed to do lifting is still sitting on the glutes, which I do feel like is okay sometimes. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe that looks good. I just think that's as low as it's gonna get. Okay, maybe we're getting somewhere. Is that better? Okay. I may have been a bit dramatic. I think I was able to adjust these into a reasonable place. I do feel like it's looking better. Just with Gymshark's style of scrunch, like it just doesn't fit like a normal scrunch. Like this is not a scrunch that you can pull between the glutes. It doesn't go between the glutes. So it does give like a little bit of contour, but it's not giving like full wedgie like most scrunch leggings. So if you try to pull it up the glutes too much, then all of the under glute contour is halfway up your glutes. So that's my note there. Anyways, first impressions, these are actually way stretchier than expected. I am used to the pain and agony of getting Define Impact seamless leggings on. I really hate Define Impact seamless. It's not for me. I know a lot of people love it. It does not fit me well. And I literally get like rug burn on my fingers when I try to get those on. These got on so easily, but with that is a trade. I'm really not feeling too much compression. Also, I don't know if I would really call these mid-rise. They feel like low-rise. Like mid-rise, I feel like goes like maybe a little bit closer to the belly button. This is full belly button out. Like this is pretty low rise. When I laid all the leggings flat, the Gymshark Lift Seamless definitely had the biggest dip down in the front. So feeling more low rise, which is really not for me, but we have the compressive ribbed waistband. It's all just one tier compared to Define, which is 3 tiers. No front seam, oval gusset. You have some of that ribbed compression that comes onto the knee. These are also a 24-inch inseam, which I can probably stretch to be a little bit longer, but they do feel a little bit short. So for me, more of like a 7/8 length. And I literally don't know how it's 2026 and Gymshark is still doing these tag bouquets in their leggings. Like, how have we not figured out a tearaway tag at this point? Or just putting the care instructions like on the inside of the waistband. How have we not figured that out? Like, I hate their tag bouquets so much. All right, and then we get to the back, and these really do feel like a combination of Define Impact Seamless and Buff Bunny Miracle Seamless. The scrunch, more like Define Impact, and the way that it's sitting a little bit up on my glutes feels more like Define Impact as well. I always see on myself and on other people that the Define compression area does come onto the glutes a little bit, like intentionally, but they just have one uniform compression down the leg instead of having this little panel. But the extra layers of compression here remind me of Buff Bunny Miracle Seamless, and that is meant to be an under glute contour that actually goes under the glutes and shapes them from below rather than sitting on the glutes and trying to lift. So they're all doing different things. Every compression legging is a little bit different. The glute area here is definitely super thin and is not going to squish your glutes down. You will get cellulite coverage with this heavy ribbing. I would definitely say these are more short to medium glute friendly. The actual scrunch length is only about 2.5 inches. And I feel like for me, it's more of a medium glute girly. I don't really have enough space, and that's why this might be sitting a little bit high, but I do really like how the curved glute seams sit right above the glutes and are contouring nicely there. And overall compression, I will say they are a little bit more compressive underneath the glutes, like maybe medium compression under the glutes, but the rest of the legging, I feel like is a light to medium compression. So I'm not finding these to do a lot of lifting. I did just want to put a side-by-side of these, the Define Impact and Buff Bunny Miracle Seamless. And the thing with these like shapewear compression style leggings is everything is going to fit everyone a little bit differently. Some people love the Define Impact Seamless. Personally, I don't think it looks good on me. I actually don't love the Buff Bunny Miracle Seamless either, especially the mid-rise. I feel like it squeezes me a little bit and it's very glute contouring. My personal faves, Alpha Elite Pump, but I didn't feel like these were really super comparable to Alpha Elite Pump. The Gymshark Lift Seamless really does feel like a mix of the two. I will say this is significantly better than the Gymshark 1.0 Seamless. I do feel like the Define type girlies, if you're looking for a little bit less compression, you actually might really like these, but let me know which ones you guys think are the most flattering. Okay, watching these back, I did not rate them on the booty scale. I mean, they are definitely giving a little contour moment. I almost want to say high on the booty scale, but you guys let me know in the comments down below. what we think. Also, I will say this could be a height thing as well, even though I'm not trying to pull these up. I do feel like they are trying to cause me a little bit of camel toe as well. I feel like this happens when the waistband dips down a little bit too much in the front because it wants to sit up higher, but like it doesn't go up as high. So just a little warning. Okay, popping in here. After watching that back, I actually do think they look good. I feel like the under glute area, even though it looks like it was meant to be more of a contour, it is still lifting and it's not cutting into the glutes too much. So I actually do feel like it looks good. I do think it's better suited for the shorter glute girlies because even though it's not the shortest scrunch I've ever seen, the scrunch length is 2.5 inches. The way they've designed the scrunch, it's not to sit fully between the glutes. If it was sitting fully between the glutes, it would come up a little bit higher. So yeah, honestly, after watching it back, I do feel like it's giving glute separation. It's just not giving full wedgie, and I think it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna give this one to Gymshark. I still think it doesn't quite work for me just based on my preferences and having like slightly longer glutes, but I think they are doing what they set out to do with these leggings. Next, we have the Gymshark Lift Seamless 2.0 shorts. And most of these are already sold out, but on the Gymshark website, it said that they're already going to have more stock in mid-August, and Gymshark back in the day, you could barely ever get anything. So I'm glad that they finally figured out their stock. These shorts are $50, and I also got a size small. Very similar details in the front, the ribbed sewn-on waistband, no front seam, mid-rise. It said that they're about a 4-inch inseam on the website, but I just measured and they're more like a 4.5, which I love to see. We have the tonal Gymshark branding, tonal, subtle, love it. And then we practically have the same details as the leggings in the back. We have the curved glute seams, we have that kind of wider scrunch, thinner glute area, little booty out pouchings, I call them. 3 tiers of under glute compression. And for the shorts, the ribbing just goes all the way down to the bottom of the leg. So we'll see if that's too compressive on the thigh area. It feels pretty stretchy. Let's try it on. I think that this is all that I can adjust for these. Yeah, you know, I was worried about the thigh situation, and rightfully so. Okay. Let's talk about the front first. Unfortunately, this top is kind of ruining the vibe, so getting rid of that. The shorts, I do feel like are maybe sitting a little bit higher than the leggings. This often happens. So I do feel like the shorts are a mid-rise, and I do feel like it's a flattering rise in the front. It dips down a little bit, comes up on the sides. I'm not feeling too squeezed. So definitely prefer the front of the shorts. We have no front seam, love the tonal branding, and about a 4.5-inch inseam. In the front, it's okay, but they do use a pretty heavily ribbed hem here, and you can just see it really doesn't have very much stretch at all. So the thighs are suffering. And then let's look at the back because it's the goal of these. Again, I feel like after adjusting, you know, it does come up a little bit high. These are a little bit more short glute friendly, and I'm a little bit more medium, maybe even medium to long. So they're just not really gonna ever fit me quite right. The glute space isn't quite enough, but it can be really hard to like dial in the glute space for everyone. Like for me, Buff Bunny Miracle Seamless has enough space for my glutes. Something like this is just coming up a little bit too much, no matter how much I try to adjust it into like a contour position. And then we have the thigh area. And I thought it would be okay, but it is quite tight on the thighs to the point where it's really digging in. This reminds me a lot of the Honor Enhanced Lift, which, by the way, I have never seen a person that the Honor Enhanced Lift does not literally look like it is suffocating their thighs. I'm like, release the thigh seam. This is not as tight as that, but it is still tight. So I was kind of hoping the shorts would be better than the leggings, but they're just not doing it for me. The glute area is fine. This is a little tight. I do feel a little bit more compressed overall in the shorts. So I'd say like medium compression overall, mostly true to size. If you sized up, you would just be getting no glute lift, and the waistband would probably be too big. So not the most thick thigh friendly, but some people don't care if the thighs are a little squished. I think it's just a little bit too much for me. Moving into tops, we have the Lift Seamless Sports Bra. And this is the more coverage option of the two. We will see the second one. I actually don't know if I'll be able to try it on camera because it is microscopic. But you know what? The small cup size girlies want the itty bitty bras. So as long as we have an option with better coverage, make all the tiny bras you want. So Lift Seamless Sports Bra, we have a little V neckline, a little scrunch in the front. It actually mimics the legging scrunch. It has like that kind of wider area there. Tonal branding, PK knit structure, ribbed bra band, removable cups, and adjustable straps in the back. Doesn't look like a ton of coverage, but I'm hopeful. So let's try it on. You know, I was really excited that they, you know, even though they were doing the minimal coverage bra, that we were going to have a more large cup size friendly bra, but I'm getting spillage out the side, spillage at the front. So no, I mean, is it doable? I don't know. I feel like I am falling out of it quite a bit. So just not loving this one. We have the V neckline, I would say low to medium coverage, and just like I don't do well with like super deep plunging V's, so that could be part of it. But I do feel like the fact that I'm falling out the side and the front is definitely a telling sign. So I would say this one is not the most large cup size friendly. The support is actually low to medium just because it's pretty compressive. I would say true to size overall. If you're in between, you could do either way. We have a little ruching detail in the front. We have the bra band. It is sitting underneath the bust, so it's fitting well otherwise. I do feel like we have like a little bit of strap gaping here, which I don't love, but overall it's not bad. We do have the adjustable straps in the back. I just feel like a lot of these seamless outfits, and this goes for many brands, like they just don't know how to make a bra with just a little bit more coverage, like just a little bit more. I'm not asking for full coverage. I actually don't want full coverage, but I also don't want to be falling out two parts of the bra, you know? And we also do have some of that contour detail here. I feel like it's leading to some wrinkling on the sides, but it's okay. Then we get the Lift Seamless 2.0 sports bra. I didn't get any bottoms in yellow, but it is a cute little butter yellow color. So, oh my God, this is so tiny. This actually might be the smallest bra I've ever seen. It is smaller than the Gymshark like minimal bra. I knew it looked small on the website, but I was not prepared. So this is the Lift Seamless 2.0 bra. We have more of a wide neckline with a slight V to it. We have that little ruche detail in the front. They kind of tried to create a ribbed bra band, but the cup pads, and they actually do have cup pads. I really want to see how small these cup pads are. Tiniest cup pad I've ever seen. The cup pad says 3XS, and the size I got is a small. For the actual extra small girlies, which by the way, when I shopped on the website, I shopped right at launch time. There was not a single item that actually came in the extra small. Anyways, it doesn't really look like that ribbed bra band is actually going to sit underneath the bust like a normal bra band would, but we'll see. We have crisscross straps that are adjustable in the back, and then the little bra band in the back as well is also an adjustable strap. So let's try it on. Maybe. So I cannot show this one on screen because there's no way that I can adjust this one. I tried. That doesn't, you know, show things that shouldn't be shown. On camera, just know it's super micro coverage, but I do feel like the small cup size girlies are really gonna like this one. Like the straps feel good. I like that it's all adjustable. And I do like that it still has the removable cups because I don't think it actually even said that on the website. So again, not for me, but I just wanted to try. Then we got the Lift Seamless tank with shelf. Size small, and this was $44. This is what also was giving me Define vibes. Like this reminds me of the Define halter top, which is actually crazy because again, I'm still not convinced that Define is not just drop shipping. This is all my thoughts, nothing proven, but they've done so well that you have Gymshark copying them, which is crazy. Like, I feel like, you know, you've kind of lost it a little bit when everyone used to be copying you as Gymshark, and then now Gymshark is copying everyone else. Anyways, we have a V neckline, we have that little scrunch in the middle, we have the PK knit seamless, and they basically took the same concept of the contouring under the leggings for under the bust area. So we have that ribbed compressive area under the bust, and then the vertical ribbed area all the way down the waist. We do have adjustable straps in the back. I'm really liking the commitment to adjustable straps. This one actually looks like really decent coverage as well, and it has a full shelf liner with removable cups. Let's try it on. Speechless. Genuinely speechless. There was a little bit of foreshadowing with the first sports bra. Like I was like, oh, the strap didn't like quite sit right, but like it was like mostly fine. The way that this top is just like projecting outwards to the front. I just spent 5 minutes looking in the mirror, just thinking like, is there anything that can be done to help with this situation? So I have one of the straps at like a comfortable length, and then I tightened this strap all the way. And you can see even with the strap tightened all the way to the point where like it's lifting the girls up here, the side of this is just like not contoured to the body at all. How can such a big company make such bad fitting items? Like this is just bad. Like the way that this just like doesn't fit a woman's body. So many questions. I actually was excited for this top. I thought it would be cute. So if we can ignore how awful the top of the top is, the bottom of the top isn't great either. So overall, I would say that this is the size that I should be in. It is nice and snug under the bust. If I size down, it would definitely be too tight. And for the most part, it fits along the waist, but the hem is extra tight. It's squeezing in a little bit and causing the rest of it to kind of like bubble up. Like I'm trying to pull it down and it looks a little bit better, but then it just like slides right back up. So it's just not staying put very well. I feel like with a top like this, it should come out a little bit to accommodate for some hips and not just be like one narrow waist, because I also have a really long torso. So this is actually hitting me just beyond the smallest point of my waist, which means for most people, it's gonna be hitting you lower. So I just feel like it's gonna be really tight on the hip area. Compared to the Define halter top like this, that one actually snatches and looks really good. This is just poor fitting. That's just the only way to describe it. I'm bummed. It's actually not bad in terms of coverage if this actually like laid flat, but the side boob is just crazy. And I would consider myself somewhat more narrow chested rather than wide chested. So the fact that this is just so moved in the side boob, it's just crazy. This is so much. If we just looked here, I would say like honestly medium to full coverage, but then if you incorporate the sides, it's like low to medium coverage. Support is low to medium, and yeah, I would say true to size. I wouldn't recommend this one. Something about the top just is not fitting well. And the length, I would say, technically it should be high hip, but it settles at waist. And then I did feel like this was a missed opportunity for a seamless snatching BBL jacket because that just fits this vibe so much, but they didn't have a jacket this launch. It is summer, so I get that. Maybe they'll have one later on, but they do have these little contoured tees. This is the Lift Seamless short sleeve top. We have a crew neckline. It's definitely going to be a cropped fit. Everything is made of the same seamless material, so you're getting that PK knit. We have the ribbed compression underneath the bust, and then we have the higher density ribbed compression under the bust, which I feel like maybe a little bit much for a t-shirt, but that's the vibe that this is going for. Ribbed area down the top, and then there's actually a more lightweight mesh area on the back. This one does not have any sort of removable cups or any support or anything, so this is something that I personally would be wearing a bra underneath, so let's try it on. Okay, so quite snug, but finally, I think the first top all day where there's not like major fit issues. Do I like it still? Not really. This isn't really my style. I'm kind of over, like, I don't know. This reminds me of like OG Gymshark style tops like this. It's just not for me. So we have a crew neckline. You have the under bust contour area. Looks a lot more normal when it's on, I will say. But I do appreciate that there was some actual space for the bust. I would say true to size overall, but it is quite snug. I do feel a little bit restricted in the lats and the shoulders, and it's a little bit tight on my bulging biceps. Just kidding. Although it is tight, my biceps aren't that big. We have a cropped length. Fortunately, the hem on this one is not squeezing awkwardly like the other top. And then we have the mesh back for some breathability. I do have a sports bra on underneath this one because there's no real support in it. Yeah, just a top. Not crazy about it, but no real problems with this one. Okay guys, that's the entire Gymshark Lift Seamless collection. I mean, I can't say I'm too surprised that I'm not impressed, but the marketing of it, like the girlies were looking cute in it, so I thought, okay, like maybe this will be good. The tops, unfortunately, all were not really great, I would say. The tank was pretty horrendous. The other ones were like doable, but just nothing I would like reach for. And I do feel like if you like something like a Define Impact with a little bit less compression, like you may like the leggings. I'm not a Define Impact girly. They don't really work for me, so it's not something that I really like. And I do feel like the scrunch is still a little bit too wide. Like I do feel like you just kind of see it in the reflection. And I don't know, but you guys let me know what you think, how everything looked. I really don't miss doing Gymshark reviews because every time I try something from Gymshark, it's hard to film a Gymshark review because I just don't want to try anything on because every piece makes me a little bit more sad. I like trying on activewear that makes me feel good and fits well, you know, and that's just not how I felt today. As always, leave your video comments down below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!